Hey, welcome to the second course video for the song Running with the Wolves by AURORA from her album All My Demons Greeting Me as a Friend. I'm musically malnourished and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. These videos, we do a deep dive into the lyrics and meaning behind the music. So let's get in, see what we can learn from this song. All right, here's what AURORA has said about the song. The song is about having the animal instinct inside you come to life, running with them, joining them, the instinct taking over, giving you freedom and making you forget about your human self and all things we humans keep around us in the modern society. I think humans need to let go a bit more, shake their bodies more often, like the animals do. It's a beautiful thing, really. Sometimes when you look at the world and you see what we've done to it, the way many of us hurt the world we live in, innocent animals, even our own kind, that kind of makes you want to follow the wolves instead, at least for one night. And then also this song, I like this here. AURORA recorded a new version of Running with the Wolves for the 2020 Irish animated film Wolfwalkers, which appeared on both soundtrack and in the trailer for the film. All right, let's get in and walk through this a bit together. Verse 1, go row the boat to safer grounds, but don't you know we're stronger now? My heart still beats and my skin still feels, my lungs still breathe, my mind still fears, but we're running out of time, all the echoes in my mind cry. So obviously I think with the song is also what has been said is, and AURORA has this ability in her music and in her lyrics, right? To try to conjure something up within us, to shake us out of maybe even a lot of the modern trappings we can find ourselves in that like dull us, right? Make us stupid, kind of have the Wall-E effect. If you remember that movie, everybody kind of just becomes really unhealthy and lives on a spaceship in a chair. And, you know, oftentimes we don't find ourselves far from that, right? Like this. And it's like, this isn't evil in and of itself, but if we're not careful, if we don't embrace the call a little bit to run with the wolves, we very much can become that, just totally desensitized, totally disconnected from the world around us, from one another, from ourselves. And I think that's a really dangerous place to live in. And so even this idea of rowing the boat to safer grounds maybe is kind of indicative of that, right? To run with the wolves is this kind of wild, and there's some danger involved in it, but there's adventure with it. And rowing to safer grounds is like, let me just get somewhere. It's kind of the opposite of that. But it sounds here, the challenge is, but don't you know we're stronger now? And then I think this is just the reminding of her, like being alive. My heart beats. My skin feels, my lungs breathe, and my mind still fears, which I love that because it seems like the only negative thing within there, right? If your heart's beating good, if your skin is feeling good, if your lungs are breathing good, if your mind is fearing bad. But I think that that's also just the reminder of like the human side of us, you know, and is much more in reality than just being a completely fearless person. That ultimately as people, we do, like our mind fears, but it's the ability to push past that fear. And maybe even connecting with the rowing to safer grounds is like, you have a fear of being out in the unknown, a fear of adventure. And that doesn't just have to be literally like outside. It could be anything in your life. It could be in pursuing a relationship. It can be in your work. You know that we have this tendency to want to move to a safer place. And maybe you need safer harbors for a time. That's perfectly fine. But don't allow it to like keep you from pushing out into the deeper waters, running with the wolves. And fear, courage is not a lack of fear, right? Courage is the ability to press forward in the face of fear. And maybe that's her thing, is like we're running out of time. You know, this idea of embracing life. And these echoes in her mind cry. So there's this resounding noise within her mind that is screaming out. This is interesting. And I've looked at it, and there can be a number of different interpretations. There's blood on your lies. The skies open wide. There is nowhere for you to hide. The hunter's moon is shining. So you may be aware, but here we can look at this real quick, just so we're all on the same page. The hunter's moon, its first full moon following the harvest moon, typically appearing in October or early November, traditionally signaling the ideal time to hunt and gather game to prepare for winter. Its bright, low rising light allowed for hunting after sunset. It often appears larger and more orange-hued due to atmospheric conditions. This part's interesting. Historically, this moon allowed hunters to easily spot animals such as deer and foxes, which were fattened up and more visible in cleared fields after the harvest. And I think there was an interesting note here too about her writing it specifically down here. I wrote it last year, June, I think. It was during the blood moon. It's something that doesn't happen that often, every 100 years, I think. That's what inspired the line, the hunter's moon is shining. Now, what I find really interesting about this is I think all of the ideas connect. This idea of blood on your lies, I think, is directly connected to the hunter's moon shining. And these two in the middle, the skies open wide and there's nowhere to hide. And so my challenge becomes that I feel like she's consistently through this song speaking kind of about, not obviously, yes, herself, and then, you know, how others can take that. And so maybe the lies are that comfort, the somewhat of like deceiving yourself. And so if the hunter's moon is out and it's bright, obviously you also have the tie to a moon or a full moon with wolves. There's obviously this picture that's being painted there. But I think the blood being on your lies is just the idea that the moon is up, the moon is bright. It is this hunter's moon. It is this blood moon. And it's kind of put you in the light. And it's exposing all of your lies, all of your hesitations, and that she's had this echo going in her mind crying out. And now it's just totally exposed. And then the response to that is that I'm running with the wolves tonight. I'm letting go. I'm letting go of my fear and my hesitations. I'm embracing the wild. And so that's how I feel like those things connect. So then we get into here, which I think, again, is revisiting some of the similar ideas from up here. Trick or treat, what would it be? I walk alone. I'm everything. My ears can hear and my mouth can speak. My spirit talks. I know my soul believes. But we're running out of time and all the echoes in my mind cry. And so we could dissect this line by line, but really what I feel like she's doing is reinforcing the first part of the song, just in different language, is this trick or treat, this like be deceived and stay where you are, or embrace this idea of your ears hearing, your mouth speaking, your spirit talking, your soul believing, and the recognition you're running out of time. Listen to those echoes in your mind, that thing that's screaming out. And so it's a repeated pre-chorus and back into this. I'm running with the wolves tonight. So then we move into the bridge. A gift, a curse. They track and hurt. Say, can you dream? In nightmares seems. A million voices, silent dreams, where hope is left so incomplete. This one is a bit interesting, and feel free to help me in the comments. So a trick or treat feels similar. A gift, a curse. They track and hurt. This is where I was trying to figure out, is she speaking about wolves here? But I feel like she's continuing to speak about kind of more from a human standpoint. And I was looking something up in this. So the gift is this idea of a heightened awareness. And you can see if any of these ideas resonate with you. A gift, a curse feels like identity, instinct, sensitivity, wildness. In this song, she's wrestling with something inside her, something primal, the ability to feel deeply, to see differently, to not fit neatly into the civilized world. And that kind of intensity can absolutely feel like both a gift heightened awareness, imagination, emotional depth, and a curse, isolation, overwhelm, being misunderstood. They track and hurt. Track feels predatory, like hunters, like society, like expectations. If you're different, sensitive, wild, people notice, they pursue, they label, they try to tame. And it could be social pressure, judgment, trauma, or even internal self-criticism hunting you down. So then we get into this, say, can you dream? And nightmare seems. She flips the idea of dreaming, normally hopeful, into something fractured. Feels like she's asking, can you still hold on to imagination when your world feels like a nightmare? Or even deeper, when your life feels dark, can you still access beauty? Can you dream through the fear? It's almost disassociative, like trying to stay soft in a harsh world. So that really resonated with me. And I think, again, if you keep breaking this song into these three parts that are kind of saying similar things, just in a different way, and each time elaborating on the one previous, a million voices. And this could be like those, you know, the voices you're listening to, the voices that are speaking, that are trying to kind of keep you tame, these dreams that you have that you don't talk about. And in that place, hope is left so incomplete because you're not taking hold of that thing, that of running free. So you have this hope that's left incomplete. And then the answer to that is running with the wolves. And I think it ends out on that chorus. So yeah, a lot of interesting things in here. Let me know if you see any of that differently. I'd love to hear your opinion. We can have a conversation in the comments. But obviously from a broad perspective, it is just that, like, don't get so dumbed down. Don't get so desensitized, right? It is the idea of like, go and touch some grass. One thing that I love, in even a simple way, is we're kind of coming out of the winter where I live, and our winters are not harsh. I'm in Georgia. But we have hit kind of this stretch of nicer weather, and we've just been like sitting out in the driveway. My kids are on break this week, and yesterday we went and sat out in the driveway in the sun, you know, and soaked up the vitamin D and had lunch together. All of my wife's encouragement, because she's the best. And I hadn't even been feeling well the last few days. She's like, you need to go sit out in the sun today. And I was like, yeah, I think you're right. So let me know your thoughts on this one. Excuse me. Yeah, as you can see, perfect health right now. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope to see you in the next one. Sweet and good.